our Inventy platform dedicated to the continuous improvement of SAP solutions. We leverage 3 state-of-the-art technologies to make it possible. First, cloud, as Performer is basically proposed as a SaaS solution. Second, big data, because Performer is the largest SAP benchmarking base with nearly 2,000 indicators and hundreds of customers. Third, machine learning and artificial intelligence through the analytical and predictive algorithm our talented developers and data scientists build. But let us have a tour of the product. Welcome to our platform. Performer for SAP supports a very simple 4-steps approach that's directly inspired from Lean Management and Six Sigma. First step, you perform a diagnostic. It's fully automated. In a few days, you get a 360-degree view of your company information system running on SAP, and you get a perfect understanding of your strengths and weaknesses. Second step, we allow you to benchmark yourself to your peers, to the other SAP customer of the same size, same industry, or running in the same region. Furthermore, we allow you to compare several systems inside your landscape, or to compare your processes running on different company codes within the same system. That benchmarking is very important because it allows to identify your optimization potential. The diagnostic and the benchmarking analysis will be used by our platform in the third step, that's called simulation. Simulation calculates for you the most pragmatic and recommendable action plan to improve your performance and to correct your weaknesses. The fourth and last step is to follow the action plan that you have decided and to measure the real benefits and outcomes that they have produced in your context. Here on the home page, the Performer Index reflects your overall performance in managing your SAP system. The index is actually a calculated note from 0 to 5, and the gauge surrounding it goes from red to yellow and finally green, depending on it. Simple but powerful, as a note is calculated out of more than 1,000 indicators categorized in the 3 covered dimensions. In fact, it is more than 120 business and IT processes that are analyzed. On the lower part of the screen, you can see the optimization potential that is calculated by the platform. It derives from the comparison of the diagnostic to the benchmark base within Performer and will be detailed in the simulation step. Now, what is exactly behind those dimensions in the first step called diagnostic? Cost-effective dimension deep dives into costing elements of owning and running an SAP solution: licenses, maintenance, hosting, administration services, and so on. But Performer also analyzes your technical debt created by the complexity of your system and its configuration. Also, it evaluates the quality of service that is globally delivered. The safe dimension covers security from a unique and 360-degree perspective. The SAP system is checked against potential flaws and risk of security. Performer also checks the way user accounts are managed and evaluates the authorization policy enforced in the production system. Even more important, Performer helps you get prepared for security or financial audits by checking the segregation of duties in your business processes. The platform also calculates your level of exposure to fraud and the amount it could possibly represent. The fast dimension now. It relates to agility. Performer measures the capacity of the IT organization to transform business requirements into live features. How quickly do they deliver changes to production? What is the nature of those changes delivered? More SAP standard feature and customizing, or customer-specific development? Then it evaluates if the changes are tested. And finally, if all those features are used at all. The capacity to propose innovation to the business and the technical performance of the architecture are also assessed. But one key part of Performer is the evaluation of the business processes running on SAP. Are they effective? Are they efficient? All the core business processes of the ERP are covered. Sales with order to cash, purchasing with procure to pay, finance, manufacturing, supply chain, HR, and many more. To finish with the diagnostic phase, let's discover the most detailed level of information in KPIs. Here, in the order to cash subdomain, we can find many indicators checking, for example, the execution of the main steps of the process as expected in SAP. Are quotations there, sales order, shipment, invoice, and so on. And how fluid is the chain between those process steps. We also evaluate the non-qualities from one step to another. How many sales documents exist that are blocked because they are not complete? How many orders are not shipped? We also evaluate with Performer the volume of functional documents and records in the system, and we evaluate the business revenue they represent. Finally, Performer calculates the lead times between the different stages of the process and also more global indicators like the DSO. Each KPI is conveniently tagged with a unique identifier, shown here, and a meaningful title. Just drag your mouse over it and the tooltip appears, with the details on the calculation formula and the source of data, meaning what tables of SAP are used. When it is relevant, the KPI gets a score, a note, showed here with this colored bubble. Here, by clicking on the KPI value, you have access to the so-called proof, the list of all records that are involved in the KPI calculation. One click away is the volumes of sales order that are modified. Performer opens the list of records. On this new screen, you see KPI, its name, the description that reminded, and the value. Below, you have the list of all documents, and you can display more or less of them. You have also basic graphical reporting feature and the capacity to download the entire proof to Excel. But the most interesting feature is here. Performer comes with automated data mining feature, so it will tell you what criteria do have an influence on the KPIs that you are considering. For example, here we can easily identify that the modification differ from one sales organization to another, so there might be an organizational reason to investigate. And we also can identify that the most modification happen on a certain type of document. That could give explanation or reason for a possible process-oriented cause. Okay, now you should be familiar with the diagnostic within Performer. So let's have a look at the next stage, the benchmark. By clicking here in the navigation bar on the benchmark button, you are directed on that page where you see your global performance and the average note of your industry, but also your rank among all other customers within Performer. Okay, but what if we want to have more details? No problem, we can use that button called Benchmark Me. It will give us a more detailed understanding of our optimization potential. So, let's take the Performer index here, 2.76 out of 5, as my average note at school. Now I want to know how far I am from the best in the class. So, this is where the benchmark can help me. You have here your details by dimension, so it's very easy to read. For the cost management, I'm part of the top 25% of the class. So certainly, I will not put much effort there because I'm already quite good. Here, in the safe dimension, I'm slightly above the average. My note is of 2.8 and the average is just below. But here, on the fast dimension, I'm clearly below the average. I'm not among the worst 25%, but I can certainly improve. And by clicking again to deep dive into the fast dimension, I will identify that my main improvement potential lies maybe not in the business process performance, where I seem to be quite good, certainly not in the innovation ability, where I am above the bar, but clearly in the time to market, because probably my IT has some troubles delivering fast or in an efficient way the features that the business requires. Hey, here we are on the home page again. So now let's have a look at the most thrilling part of performance, simulation. You have just to press here in the navigation bar again on the Simulate button to get access to the Simulate variants. So, what exactly does it consist of? As we said, Performer is using your diagnostic and your improvement potential derived from the benchmark to calculate the most pragmatic action you could take. So, meaning the one that would bring you a lot of benefits in a few time and at low investment. They are all positioned in this Gartner-inspired magic quadrant, where you see the more you go on the right, the less it costs, and the more you go up, the less time it takes to implement. So obviously all the quick wins are located in the upper right-hand corner, and you see that each bubble materializes an action plan. The size of the bubble gives you an idea of the improvement potential that behind this action, and the beauty of that is that all those actions are or can be calculated, computed for you by the platform. So now I can filter between the different views. I can, if I want, just have a look on the security related improvements or all of them, and all the improvements are listed here below. And I can have a look, for example, at the SOD remediation actions that are suggested by the platform. So it consists actually of 3 different plans: remediation at role level, both for single and composite roles, and also to remediate the user conflicts. For each action that's recommended, the platform estimates the duration and the cost of the initiative, and the platform also tells you what indicators would be positively impacted if you take those actions, and to what extent. So that way, the platform can really calculate your optimization potential and the benefits you would get. So as a reminder, they are also reflected here. So this is the goal of the simulation plan, to give you the best options to decide on the action you have to take in your organization. Performer brings some artificial intelligence to calculate the most relevant action plan in your context. But there is more. Performer has an embedded business case generator. So that means that it uses all the inputs coming from the action plan and the effort and cost assessments that's calculated by the platform to inject them in this screen, where you can play with hypotheses about your incomes, your gains, the gains that derive from the action you will take. You can distribute the cost in operating expenditure and capital expenditure. You can play also with depreciation and make the nicest business case, make it more or less aggressive, so that you can eventually go to your customer and defend that and get the budget to launch the actions that the platform has suggested. And you have all in your hand to succeed, because you will not tell only how long it will take and what it will cost, but more important, what it will bring to the organization and the real return on investment those projects will mean, and the cash flow that they will generate, and the break even that's also calculated by the platform. So that's a very, very powerful tool in your hands to win some budget for your projects. So, we are reaching the end of the performer job. Fourth and last step is called improvement. At that stage, you will actually follow up all the initiatives that you have decided with your management and for which you have presented a business case. The projects that have been selected and started can be looked at on that screen, and you can follow up their execution and level of progress. More important, for all those projects, you are reminded with the indicators that they are supposed to improve. And with the trend capability inside Performer, you can measure if you have actually achieved the improvements that you targeted upfront. If yes, you can go for another round of improvement with the next diagnostic. If not, you can adjust your action plan to really meet those achievements. This is how Performer helps you go into a continuous improvement approach for your business and IT processes. Thank you for watching this video.